from across the room and punched Dipset X in the face.
Picture this wild scene unfolding backstage at a comedy show in Philadelphia years ago. Cameron, the rapper and leader of the Harlem-based rap crew Dipset, spins a tale so outrageous it's hard to believe. According to him, comedian Katt Williams, who was apparently trying to kickstart a rap career by joining Dipset, lost his cool in a way that no one saw coming. Cameron claims that Katt stormed across the room and punched a Dipset member, let's call him Dip X, square in the face with no warning. It was such a hard hit that Cameron says he reacted purely on instinct, grabbing Katt, flipping him upside down, and slamming him to the ground like some kind of WWE move. "Ron, come on, bro," Cameron recalls thinking. "We only met a few times, and one of those times is this night you're talking about in Philly, where you slammed my man on the ground and did all this crazy, wild stuff." It's the kind of story that sounds like it belongs in a Soulja Boy mixtape tall tale, not real life. And yet, here we are in 2025, with Cameron recounting this madness on his show, Talk with Flea, and it's blowing up all over again. This wasn't just some random scuffle, though. It's the moment Cameron says ruined his relationship with Katt Williams for good. According to Cam, he and Katt had crossed paths a handful of times before, and there was mutual respect. Katt was the hottest comedian around back then, selling out shows left and right, but he also had a knack for spitting bars. Joining Dipset seemed like a natural move since he already knew Cameron and admired the crew's gritty Harlem vibe. But timing, as they say, is everything. Dipset, short for the Diplomats, wasn't the tight-knit powerhouse it once was. Formed in 1997 by childhood friends Cameron and Jim Jones, the group later welcomed Freaky Zeke and Jules Santana into the fold. They signed with Rockefeller Records in 2001 after Cameron secured his solo deal, dropping their debut album Diplomatic Immunity in 2003. The follow-up, Diplomatic Immunity 2 Wheat, came in 2004 under Coke Records, after tensions with Jay-Z forced them out of Rockefeller. But by the time Katt wanted in, the group's chemistry was fraying. Artistic differences had crept in, and though they tried to keep it going into the 2010s, disputes between Cameron and Jim Jones finally killed Dipset for good in 2025, after nearly 28 years. Katt picked a hell of a time to try and join the crew. So, back to that chaotic night in Philly. Cameron paints a picture of Katt Williams on an absolute rampage backstage. It wasn't just Dipset in the crosshairs. Katt was allegedly tearing into everyone, from his own staff to the other comedians on the bill. Cam says Katt was in a foul mood, maybe from the stress of the show or something else brewing under the surface. Whatever it was, he made sure everyone felt it. He supposedly fired his drummer on the spot, kicked out some of the comics performing with him, including Red Grant, a close friend who'd later become a key player in this saga, and just kept the chaos rolling. Then, Cam says, Katt turned. His fury on the Dipset crew who were hanging out backstage. These weren't the big names like Jules or Zeke, just other members of the extended circle, but Katt didn't care. He was screaming at them, maybe frustrated that his rap dreams with Dipset weren't panning out, maybe just looking for a fight. Here's where the story takes a turn into the absurd. Cameron claims Katt started accusing one of the Dipset guys of farting on him. Yes, you read that right, farting on him. It's so ridiculous, it's almost comical. Katt allegedly put on his detective hat, storming around the room, interrogating people like, "Did you fart? Did you fart?" He was so pissed about this supposed flatulence crime that he threatened to off the culprit. You can't make this up, or can you? According to Cam, Katt zeroed in on Dip X as the guilty party and decided to throw hands. That's when Katt charged across the room and clocked Dip X in the face, prompting Cameron's instinctive body slam. "It was just a reflex," Cam says. "Dip X is my man, so I didn't even think. I just grabbed Katt, flipped him, and slammed him." He says he snapped out of it right after, realizing how wild things had gotten, but by then, the damage was done. The room was packed. Cam estimates it was the size of a small living room, stuffed with Dipset guys, Katt's crew, and eventually, about 50 members of the Fruit of Islam, the Nation of Islam's security force, who stepped in to break things up. Katt, still fuming, started yelling at Cam and Dip X, telling them to get out. "Y'all get the fuck out," he shouted, and the FOI shuffled everyone apart. Cam remembers his boy Inst getting into it with one of Katt's guys too, adding to the melee. In the middle of all this, Cam says Katt had handed him an envelope with $30,000 earlier that night, just as a random act of generosity. "Yo, killer, good looking," Katt had said, but Cam didn't want it. When Katt insisted, Cam took it, only to lose it in the chaos after the slam. Beanie Siegel walked off with a Lamborghini. Lil Mo got a Cadillac truck. Katt was apparently in a giving mood before he flipped out, but Cam's $30K was gone. The story's so outlandish that people didn't buy it at first. But then Katt Williams jumped in, calling Cameron a liar and dropping a bombshell. Cam had left out a major detail. According to Katt, Cam didn't just slam him. He pulled a gun to defuse the situation because he was scared. Wait till the comedians in the room tell the real version, Katt posted online. Mark Curry and Red Grant was there. The video shows you pulled out the chrome 'cause you was scared. Red Grant backed Katt up, clowning Cameron for making up tall tales for clout. "We only met a few times, and one was that night in Philly," Red said. "You slammed my man? Boy, shut your lying ass up. Me and Mark Curry were there. None of that shit happened like you said." Red, who owes much of his comedy career to Katt's mentorship, told Cam to keep Katt's name out of his mouth. Cameron wasn't about to let that slide. On Talk with Flea, he fired back, asking why he'd invent such a bizarre story. "Who the fuck makes up a story about farting and snuffing niggas over farts?" He laughed. "That sounds too stupid to fabricate." He dared Red Grant to post the alleged video, claiming plenty of witnesses, like Beanie Siegel, KD, and others, could vouch for his version. "Katt was dissing you all night, Red," Cam taunted. "He kicked you out 7 times, fired his DJ for playing too much Dipset, and you kept sneaking back in for your money. He played you, son." Cam denied pulling a gun. "Why would I bring a gat to a Katt Williams show? We all know each other," and said he had no beef with Katt personally. "If you don't like how I told it, I apologize, but that's what happened," he shrugged. Still, word got around that Cam was pissed about being called a liar, even threatening to pull up on Katt if he didn't retract his tweet. Fans are eating this drama up. Something Cam's stirring the pot for attention. "Katt's on fire right now. Of course Cam wants a piece of the flame," one wrote. Others say it's just old stories getting twisted over time. 25 years ago, everyone was drunk or high. There's gonna be different versions. Another called Cam corny for staying in drama but never throwing hands. So, what's the truth? Did Cam exaggerate a wild night for clout, or did Katt overreact and rewrite history? Should Cam have kept this tale to himself, or was Katt wrong to call him out? And could this escalate into a full-blown feud? It's a messy, ridiculous ride, and we're all just along for it. Grab a snack. This one's far from over. Said, but Cam didn't want it. When Katt insisted, Cam took it, only to lose it in the chaos after the slam. Beanie Siegel walked off with a Lamborghini. Lil Mo got a Cadillac truck.